Hey everybody! Well, today we're going to take a look at this brand new set from FO, otherwise formerly known as Funwhole, and which will be known as Lumibricks. They're changing the name of their company, which is good. And so I think Lumibricks is a pretty cool name for them. Now, this company rivals Lego as far as I'm concerned with the piece quality, and their sets are very cool, original. They have lights in their sets, which is awesome. And that's something that Lego doesn't really do unless it's a light brick or something like that. Now, this is the Future Bus. It's like a futuristic looking bus. It has 605 pieces. I guess you get these two minifigures along with it. Has some really nice lighting going on here on the back. Has a couple of smaller pictures of it. And so there's interior lighting as well and on the back. And so this is supposed to have like a transition where you drive it like a bus normally with wheels, but then it can go into flight mode. And you can see it comes with a stand, so it looks like it's flying. And these things pop out. They're like little propellers that's supposed to like propel it in the air. I don't know. It's pretty neat looking. All right, well, let's take a look at the parts. This company has come a long way with their sets over the years, and they just seem to be getting better and better and coming out with so many cool sets. I've done several of these on this channel before. Here's the instruction booklet. Pretty thick for a set that's not that big. And they just kind of go over this whole thing. And these go together just like your standard bricks. Here's some instructions for the electronics. It's going to use some of those button cells. And then here's where you start. They kind of talk about the electronics. Everything's already wired, so that's really nice. Their pieces are made so that wires can go through them, which is absolutely fantastic. They got specialty pieces that allow the wiring to go through. That's just kind of how the whole thing goes together. And then here's the pieces. Now these are going to have the electronics, the lights in them. And then here's the parts. Oops, and you can see how they are just like Lego, and they are numbered, which is wonderful. A lot of the sets used to not number them. I think that was a patent that Lego had a long time ago, but I don't think they have that patent anymore. And they use a lot of pieces that are like, shiny gold. They have prints on everything. They don't use the stupid stickers. At least for the most part, they don't use them. Lego's always using those stickers. I really wish they'd move away from that. And then there's a nice clear red piece right in there. Very nice. All right, and then let's take a look at these real quick. I was going to not open these, but I think I will just to see what's inside. I'm not sure where the wires are on here. I don't want to accidentally tear the wires up. These are like kind of paper bags. All right, so here we have the electronics. Oh, there's a tiny little wire right there. So here we got the, now I think you can plug this in with a USB, but you can also battery power it. And see how the lights are built into the actual, brick pieces, the studs or whatever. And then these are the connector plates. That's really cool. Look at the way they did that. So that's where you'll plug them in. And then I'm guessing, I guess they just plug in there. Seems like they would go to something else. That's pretty interesting. And then another wire fell out here. All right, and then let's go ahead and take a look at this other one. Okay. And in here, looks like, these are going to be the battery packs. So that's some instructions there. And then this is, I love it. They give you a nice little screwdriver. And then it comes with the one battery pack. I don't think they have batteries with these anymore, probably because of the shipping purposes. So this is probably going to use like 2032 batteries or something like that. That's where it plugs in right there. And then there's a switch. All right, well, I'll get started on this. It should be a pretty fun build. Now, as with all these sets, they are so cool the way they do the wiring on here. So you can see the plug-in goes on the front right there. And then the wire goes through these specialized pieces that have these channels where you can put the wires in there. It's so cool the way they do it. There's even like a split right here in the middle where, you can join the two pieces together. And I love these ones because the wires can go straight across or they can bend 90 degrees like that. It's very, very cool the way they do it. And then there's another one right there. So you can just track all the wires through there. And then we got more lights all down here. But I just love it. These pieces are so cool, the way they figure out how to do the lighting on here. So this is what I've got going on so far. You can see the interior of the bus. There's some neat little computer screens right there. So yeah, another fun set that's going together really nice. But I just love the way they do that. That's awesome. Here's the two minifigures that come with this set. And then you only get two, but that's okay. I mean, I guess you don't really need a whole lot. The guy on the left there, he is the driver, and you can see his cool little cyber futuristic headwear there that he's got on. You can also see his uniform. It looks like he's got a few tools or something on his belt that you can kind of see right there. And then also the girl there has got that really cool hairpiece. I like that hairpiece. I think Lego's got that same one, but the way that they have it kind of going over her shoulder is really neat. You can see the designs on her jacket, and they both have designs on their front pockets as well. Now, these figures, you actually have to put everything together. You have to put the arms on, you have to put the hands on, and I will say that getting those hands on to the arms is really hard to push those on. And I always get mixed up as to which one has to go which way. I try to make them, they do give you one of each hand, but I always get mixed up as to which one goes where, and I have to keep fumbling around with it. But you can see the backs of them here. They don't have alternate faces, but I guess they really don't need any. But, they're not bad for these figures. I know they're not the same as the Lego figures, but they're pretty close to them. Some people don't like these figures, but I really think they're fine. Okay, here it is all complete, and this is a cool looking bus. I absolutely love this thing. It's looks better than I thought it was going to. For some reason, I don't know, for some reason it seems like the pictures don't do it justice. I just think it looks better in person, but you can see how good this ended up turning out. And then it does roll very smooth. These wheels are just like the Lego wheels. They're rubber. And there's, 2, 4, 6 of them on there. You can see the little rotors right here. I'll show you how all of that works. It's got a few little, gimmicks that it has on here. I love the front end of that thing where the driver sits, and it's got a few windows over here, and the door on the other side opens, and there's some details up here that I didn't even know that it had. On this side over here, they got these nice little storage areas right here, so you kind of get your fingernail under here and lift them up. And on the inside, you got like a toolbox, little space here to put something else maybe in there. I like the smooth hinges that they put on there and the nice texturing on the doors right there. Also, you got these little spinners. I'll show you how that goes into flight mode. You can open up these windows from the inside by pushing them outward. Also like the red clear highlights on here, kind of making it look more futuristic. Here's the back. This piece here is really neat. It's a print. Well, everything's printed, of course, because most of these sets are, but this has almost like a texture to it. And I don't know if I can get it in the light just right, but it's a really neat looking piece. I really like that. This one here looks like it's maybe a map. Back here also is the panel to get to the battery. So you just take it off like that. There's the battery compartment. You can take this out. And then also the on-off switch is on here too. And it uses two 2032 batteries, but it tucks in there really nice. You can also put an external power source on there too if you have a USB. Sorry, I keep going out of focus there. And then you got the nice curved windows here. This side here, I like this because it's got the sliding access door. And it even has the stairs for the minifigures to go inside. But I like this, and it's on two little track pieces up and down here. I've never seen the track piece in clear red before. It works really good. Now this front part, I like the way it looks, but it's not the easiest thing to access in here. First of all, this piece here and this one, they're only held on by two studs, and they're constantly falling off whenever you're trying to open the door. And so I actually just glued them on because I got tired of fighting with it. But you pick this up, and it lifts up so you can get the driver in there, and you have to kind of pull it out a little bit, see, to make it hinge like that, because it's got those little robot arm elbow things. And here's the seat for the driver to sit, and they also got the nice little control handles right there. There's also a light up in here that you'll see once we take a look at the lights. But closing it is always a bit of a challenge because you have to kind of get it in there just right. It's like I've been kind of trying to practice with it, but I don't know. It just seems like I have such a hard time with this. I think I would have preferred some other method to open and close this. It's kind of flimsy, and of course it just falls off. So I'm not a big fan of that at all. So the box doesn't really show the top very much, so you don't really get a chance to see what it looks like, but you can see there's some pretty cool details on here. It looks like maybe an air conditioning unit or something on there. But I really like these. They're like 2 air tanks or something. In fact, when I was building these, I was like, I couldn't figure out what they were because I didn't realize that it was part of the top detail, but that looks really good. And also like this little section back here. So they just add some greebling on here. Now you can open the top, but I do think that they should have used less studs to hold this on because there's 4 and it's not the easiest thing. I pre-loosened this so I could get it off of there easier, but there's studs on each corner. And this is a nice solid piece. And I really like these silver pieces too. But here's the inside. So you got to see it a little bit earlier, but if I can get the light in there just right, there's 4 seats. Well, I guess there's 5, but there's some luggage sitting on that front seat there. And then on the front here, let me see if I can try to focus on that. There is 2 screens right there. The top one is like a news show that's on. And then the bottom one, I think, is some kind of a, it just says no signal. So maybe they're just not getting a signal in the bus at that point. There's a nice little handrail down here for when they enter the bus on the stairs right there. And then these windows, as I mentioned, you can pop these out by, boy, it's not the easiest thing to keep focused on this. But yeah, you can pop the windows out and get some air in there. So it's pretty neat the way they did it. In the ad for this, it looks like these were like mechanized somehow, but they're not. It's kind of weird how they did that for the advertisement. Back here is another, I don't know if this is supposed to be like an ad or something like that, but it looks like it's maybe some kind of a wanted poster or something. See how it's got the the fingerprints in there? It's kind of strange. Here, now that we're this close, I can show you this one better. So now you can kind of see what that looks like. Those are prints, of course. So I love it that these companies put prints on there. They don't rely so much on stickers for everything like Lego does. So it's nice to have it, but it's cool. I do think, though, they probably should have just had maybe 1 stud on this side and 1 on this side, because having 4 of them makes it really hard to pull this thing off. But thankfully, this is a nice solid piece that, it comes off pretty good. But I like the way that looks. I mean, it's a nice finished top of, the roof part of it. It looks really good. It almost looks like these light up. All right, well, speaking of lights, let's check those out. So once again, we're going to take this back panel off so that we can get to the batteries. Pull this out. There's a little switch right here. All right, we can put this back on. I think my studio lights are drowning out the lights in here, so let's turn these down. There we go. Look at that. Oh, that looks so cool. I love it because it has like a neon type of look to it. It's like this bluish purple hue. The camera's washing it out, but there's a nice purplish color right in here, while these ones are more blue. You can see how that all lights up in there. It looks cool. And even these light up, kind of like the clear red area, which is why they kind of did all that. You can see inside the front area here, and there's where the driver sits. It's got a nice blue light right in here. The headlights are a nice yellow. Once again, those are all washed out. But you can see the full cabin area in there, which looks really good. In fact, it looks better on video how lit up it is. And then here's the other side. It looks awesome. I just love the coloring of it. It does make it look futuristic. So this thing, once again, it does go into flight mode. So what you do is the wheels, here's what the bottom looks like. And see, they're on these little hinge-like things here. They just click down like this. It's kind of like the Back to the Future DeLorean, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And they're very easy the way they go into this position. So now they're into flight mode right here. You can click these ones down all the way. So see how they look? Let me turn this up and you kind of see how that looks right in there. All right, so then these fold out, the little propellers, and they have a little hinge mechanism on there as well. If I can get into here. All right, here, I'll turn this side up too. Not the easiest thing to grip sometimes. All right, so now you've got it into flight mode here. So you can see how they're all getting ready to take off, and you can angle these too. So they're angled. You can make them go forward, so it makes it look like once it's airborne, it can start to take off. So it's like an Airbus. Just takes off like that. That's awesome. But wait, there's more. It comes with a stand. So the last thing you build is this stand, and it's just made up of mostly clear parts. And it's a pretty strong one. It doesn't have any movement or anything to it. It's just strictly to make it look like it's in flight and at a slight angle right here. So all you do is just connect it to the bottom right here where these panels, this big old panel is. Just try to find it right in the center. Let me see if I can find the right spot here. Well, I think that's not quite it. Let me see if I can move it over. It doesn't really specify where to put it, but I think it's more in the center like that. So now, I mean, it has a little bit of a movement on there, but you can see that it kind of looks like it's flying now. So if we turn the lights back down again, oh, that looks so cool. That's probably going to have to be the thumbnail right there. Oh, this is neat looking. I like the flight mode. So yeah, I like that they added a bunch of cool little, features on here. I like that the wheels can, flip downward like that. Maybe they're like thrusters or something like that. These things, will provide the propulsion forward or backward, maybe even propel it upward a little bit. The lights are always nice on these sets. That's one thing that Lego needs to really start thinking about putting lights in their sets. That's what really makes these things stand out. And these are, their own creation. It's not just a copy of a Lego set. These are their own design, and I think that looks really neat. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The back doesn't really light up that much, but I like how the interior lights up. So you can actually have the passengers in there, and you'd be able to see them sitting in there. Might have been nice to have maybe another 1 or 2 passenger minifigures. That would have been kind of nice. But, I really like it a lot. Oh, that looks so good. So there we go, the futuristic cyberbus set from FO or Funwhole, or I think they're going to be changing their name to Lumibricks here pretty soon, which I think is a great name. But this set was $40, which isn't bad in itself that it's only $40. But then as of the making of this video, it had a 25% coupon on it. I got it from Amazon, and I don't know if that coupon will still be there by the time you check that out. But oftentimes their sets are on sale, which is great. So, that's a really good deal. So, for less than $40, you can get a really nice set like this. So I'll put a link in the description if you want one of these. This is not a sponsored video for Amazon or FO, but I just think it's really neat. I really like their sets, and I think they're not perfect, but they're getting there. They're getting there, and they're getting better, and I just think their sets are just going to get better as time goes on. All right, well, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I would very much appreciate it. And I will see you on the next video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.